Hi everybody! Welcome to the Stamp Studio. I'm glad you are able to join me this evening for my third episode of how to start stamping cards. This series shows people how they can use their stamp products that they have on hand. They can learn how to learn different ways on how to use them, and they can relearn in case they've forgotten since they purchased them. So anyway, tonight we are going to go over, we're going to add in designer series paper on top of the products that we've been adding in every week. And we're going to go over a few different things on how to do the inside of the card, how to use designer series paper on your card, just more techniques and tips and tricks on how to stamp, how to start stamping if you've got things at home and you don't really know exactly how to use them anymore. So I'm trying to block this light with my head, but I realize I'm going in the wrong direction. Anyway, if you guys are just getting on, I hope that you can see me well. I hope that you could put a comment in the comment section to let me know that you can see my stamp paper here, that you can see me inside this box, and that you can hear me okay. So if you can let me know by posting something in that chat box, I'd really appreciate it, because otherwise I could just be stamping away with nobody listening. So let's see. Once I get the first person to say that they're here and listening and that they can hear me, that would be fantastic. All right, I see somebody that can hear me. Fantastic. Welcome into the Stamp Studio, everybody. Tonight we are going to have our third episode of how to start stamping, and we are going to go over lots of different tips, techniques, and tricks, and we're going to add in designer series paper into our stamping tonight. So it doesn't have to be this set exactly, but whatever designer series paper you have at home. But if you're going to copy me exactly, I will talk about a lot of products tonight. You can purchase them all at this website right there, and my hostess code for March 2021 is listed right there as well. If you have any questions, just pop them into the comments. I'm going to try and answer them as we go, but if I don't see it before, then I will go ahead and answer afterwards. Just a reminder, I'm using my phone as a camera, so don't try and text me if you have my phone number. Don't try and text me with a question, because just leave it in the comments, okay? All right, so let's see. I don't have my lights on tonight because I was hearing that I was getting kind of washed out. So I didn't turn my lights on until I'm all done chatting with you guys, which is right about now. By the way, it's all fun and games until you run out of adhesive. I don't know if this is backwards for you, but it's all fun and games until you run out of adhesive. All right, well, welcome. I am so glad you guys are here. I'm just going to adjust some lights. So, as you guys remember, this is episode 3, and in the beginning we went over some very simple stamping. This is just a basic card, one stamp, one color ink, one piece of cardstock. Here we added in a layer, the black layer right there. Here we added in some dimension right here, some decoration embellishments there with that from the trimmer. And here we added in the first color. So that was the first episode we did. So then we moved on. Last week what we did was we added in, we started with one stamp set. We had that yellow that we added in from last week, so this is Daffodil Delight, and the new stamp set we used was Timeless Tulips. So we did a couple of techniques, second and third generation, and that's just a plain inside of the card. If I don't show you the inside of the card, it's just plain. And then this one, we added a few of the larger stamps, and we edited the inside to see what that looks like. So we made a little pop-up card. And then this one, I don't think I showed it to you last week. I might have put it together afterhand. But it's basically this card, but we added in that punch that I talked about. And we added in the leaves. It's a two-step punch. It's got the tulip and the leaf. And then it's the same on the inside. So that's what we've done so far. So right now we're presuming that your stamp supplies are white, black, and a color. So tonight we're going to add in a color. And I'm going to go with a couple of different colors, but you can have your choice. Let me grab my catalog and show you what I mean. All right, so the designer series paper I chose for tonight is Flowers for Every Season. It's right here on page 148 of the catalog. By the way, if you don't have a catalog and you want a catalog, just let me know. If you don't have a demonstrator, just pop something in the comments and I can get you a catalog in the mail. The new catalog is going to be coming out, and I have until the end of March to order them. So if you want one, just let me know. Okay, so on here, it'll tell you exactly what colors coordinate. You can pick 1 or 2 or 3 or all of the colors that coordinate there. We sell the colors right here. The colors that go in with this designer series paper are the In Color collection right here for $20.22. So there are 5 different colors: Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Bumblebee, Magenta Madness, and Misty Moonlight. And what else we're going to add in is there is something called Flowers for Every Season, Memories and More card pack. I don't know if you can see that. The light might be too bright. I'll put it in the center. And then, if you really want to embellish things, there are 5 ribbons that coordinate with it as well. So you can jazz it up like that. Although there's lots of things you can jazz it up with. That stamp set, that designer series paper also works with this stamp set. There's a lot of different flowers in here with the sunflowers in this pack of paper, and I'll show you what they look like up front. I'll flip them for you so you can see. Richard told me that my shirt is not backwards, so thank you. All right, so there's different flowers on this side. Small ones, large ones. Here's just 3 colors on that one. This one is actually a Christmas themed paper. This is more of the tulips, roses, another Christmas theme. To me, it looks Christmas themed with the pine boughs. Then just some stripes. And here are the sunflowers that coordinate with the Celebrate Sunflower stamps that I was talking about. And here they are in some different colors. There's some, I guess these are daisies instead. And then some more flowers. These are all still using the same colors. Now this is the bright side of the cards, of the designer series paper. And then on this side, you'll see that they're more muted. So there's something that looks like it could be snowflakes. And then there's the Just Jade pattern. Same pattern in cinnamon. Then some more sunflowers and some, I don't know what flower that is. And then, so this is a monotone of the Misty Moonlight. Same pattern as before, but in the Bumblebee, Just Jade, cinnamon, more Just Jade. These are leaves, so this could go as a backing paper for any of these. Now remember, anything I'm teaching you right tonight can go in your card making or into your scrapbooking, so just pay attention. And this one, which I think might just be my favorite paper in the stack, I just love this one. I'm not really sure why. I think you can really see all of the detail in the roses. So we're actually going to start with that paper right there. All right, everybody. That paper, by the way, is called Flowers for Every Season. I will have all of the products listed in the description in a little bit. And, you know, if you have any questions, like I said, just ask. So we're going to start with the Cinnamon Cider. Now, in case you didn't remember from our past classes, a card base is basically an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper cut in half. So this is going to be 8.5 by 5.5, and then I scored it at 4 1/4, right? So if I had done 2 of these, that would be the full sheet of paper. There, you can cut them or score them either way. You just need half a piece of paper. I scored it, and that is a general suggestion. Sometimes it doesn't always work, so I hold it tight. And then I grab my bone folder and I just straighten out that fold. And that is really going to make that card lay flat. So I took one of those 6x6 designer series paper, my favorite ones, and I trimmed this down to 5 1/4 by 4. And remember, that is just a 1/2 inch. Remember, all of the layers are a 1/2 inch smaller than the one above it. So the card base is 5.5 by 4 1/4. The first layer is 4 by 5 1/4, so just a 1/2 inch smaller. And all I'm going to do with that one is put some adhesive on the back. And we can just stick that one down. So right away, this looks like a beautiful card, and you haven't really done any work yet. Now, while I was trimming this down, I also trimmed, is this where it came from? Yeah. Was it there, or, nope, it was from up there. I also trimmed a same piece from this, right, just from the additional cardstock right there, that is 5¼ by ½ inch. And what I'm going to do with that one is put adhesive on it. I'm using my Stampin' Seal Plus because that's just my favorite adhesive right now. Although you can use any one you want. And what I did with this one was I'm going to put it a ½ inch up from the bottom of the card. You can put it wherever you want. You can put it on the top if you wanted. It doesn't matter. Now, I am using, excuse me, my main grid lines on this square right here. Don't forget, each of these squares is 1/4 inch. So 2 squares down would be ½ inch. So I am going to put this 2 squares down and then put my designer series paper along this line. So you really don't have to do any measuring. This is not really a lot of work, a lot of math. If you don't like math, don't worry about it because, whoops, I just stuck that down accidentally. Because just line it up with the lines. See how that's done? Excuse me. All right, so there we go. Monotone Misty Moonlight Blue card is Brianna's favorite. She just told me in the comments. I'm just going to wipe that glue off there. And actually, that one is mine too. I have another card I could show you at the end. So this piece right here is just going to be the inside of my card. This is a first layer on the inside, so it's 5¼ by 4, and I am just centering it in there. Now, if you wanted to, you could flip it up and put the strip at the top. I'm just putting the strip there. So you haven't stamped anything yet. All you're going to do is grab your stamp set. You can grab whatever you want. I just have this one handy because it goes with it. This one is a red rubber stamp set. I haven't shown you guys yet how to mount your stamps. This one, so let me show you maybe if I'll put it back and show you the whole thing. All right. This one says, "Let's celebrate you." You see how it's different script? You can take that. It's all in one stamp. What I did was I cut mine and I just used "Celebrate You," or I could have done it because I wanted it in a different color ink. But I know I just wanted it "Celebrate You," and I put the "Let's" above because I was using an oval stamp. So I know why I did it. Once these are yours, they're yours. You can do whatever you want with them. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to lay it face down, so red rubber down, and I'm going to grab my block, which I've got something else on right now, which is totally fine, and I'm going to put it on just by pressing down on there, okay? Since on here I did not use Whisper White, I used our Very Vanilla, just because Whisper White, look, I'll show you how stark it is of a difference, rather than the vanilla. So I'm going to grab a scrap piece of vanilla, and I'm going to grab that same color ink. Remember that I said when you buy something like cardstock or an ink in a certain color, you really will want to, you might not know it now, but you really will want to get other things in that same color. You're investing in your stamping products. So when I buy this ink pad, I'm also going to buy the refill in case it starts to get used. Do you see how it's a little bit mottled in there? That's where I kept stamping things. So I'm going to refill this ink pad pretty soon. So I'm just going to take "Celebrate You," put that right at the bottom of here, same color. Close this up because you never want to put your hands into the ink pad accidentally. And I'm going to grab my trimmer. And what I'm going to do with that is just trim this into a little rectangle. This line right there, that track, is where it's going to cut. And you can see through here. So you can pull this cardstock up. Do you see how now I'm seeing the ink? You don't want to see the ink because then you're going to cut the ink. So I am just going to do 1 inch strip here, moving my score blade out of the way, and I'm actually cutting it with my sharp blade. And then I'm going to cut it this way as well. About there looks good to me. So I have done this card with the same, basically the same supplies that we had last week, except I added in designer series paper. You had the trimmer from last week, hopefully. You had the you have the cardstock, any single color of cardstock. It doesn't really matter which one you use, but I'm going to now just attach that. And I'm going to use my dimensionals. These are the mini dimensionals. You can use whichever ones you want. We have large ones and small ones. Oh, that's my small ones. Let me show you what the large ones look like. There you go. These are the larger dimensionals, and these are the mini dimensionals. You could use whichever ones you like I said. I'm just going to put them on the corners. These are two-sided foam tapes. They're sticky on both sides. There's a piece of paper on the top and this like waxy paper on the bottom. So when you pull it up, it's got one sticky side, and put it down, leave the paper on until you are ready to stick it down to your card. So now that I've got that all on there, I'm just going to pull off these little pieces of paper. And there are 5 of them. So of course that'll take me 20 minutes. No, I'm joking. It's just because I'm live, right? All right, so with this one, we're just going to put that wherever we want. I don't necessarily want to cover up that pretty rose. So, whoops, I have a piece on my finger. So I am going to put mine right about there. So there you go. That's our first card. You've used designer series paper is the only thing we added on here. Remember, to start stamping, all you need to have is cardstock, so paper, stamps, whatever stamp set you want. Tonight we're using Celebrate Sunflowers, and ink. 3 things. To add on, if you're getting anything else, I would get a trimmer and adhesive. Okay? So here's our first card for the evening, set aside right there. And I'll bring them all back in a moment. Okay, now using that same designer paper, and I grabbed a different color card base. So this is really super bright, this one here. This one is going to be the magenta cardstock. It's got a score line on it, so I'm going to fold that one in half and make sure that that score line is in the right place. Often it is, but sometimes you don't know. Maybe it moved a little bit. So this one, again, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And this time I took 2 different pieces of the designer series paper, and I cut them into strips. Now we know that this is 5.5, right? So I'm cutting them at 5 1/4 by 1 1/4. I also brought in 1 piece of Whisper White to go in the center. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to put some adhesive on the back. So now you see from the back of this that it had some yellow flowers. That doesn't necessarily coordinate with that right there. I like the stripes better because it brought in the pink and the yellows. So I didn't use both sides of the same paper, is what I'm explaining to you, but I did on another card. So just going to lay that one at the bottom. I'm going to grab the flower one. This was actually the other side of the paper from the card that I just made. And I'm going to float that one at the top until I'm ready to press down. I am just making sure there is an even border on the left side, the top, and the right side. And you want to make sure, if your paper has direction, that it's going in the right direction. This flowers are going in different directions here. They're kind of going down or up or facing at you. You can put it any way you want. This is our last piece, and it's going to go right here. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to grab that Celebrate You stamp set. I'm going, stamp, not stamp set. I'm going to wash it off. This is just our chamois, and it has water in it, believe it or not. And I'm just going to clean it off, all clean. The reason why I did that is I wanted to grab the coordinating ink. You don't have to have all these colors. You can do this with the same bumblebee ink we had right there and stamp it with the same ink. Doesn't matter at all. So, Celebrate You. And we can put that a little off to the left of center. Celebrate You. And this one, going to put some adhesive on the back. I went off a little bit, no big deal, just fold it up before you put it on. And then I'm going to center this one in between. Now this one I'm making sure there's, it didn't stick it down yet, so don't worry. I'm making sure there is the same border between this designer series paper and that designer series paper, and I'm also trying to line it up here. So you can make a really nice card, but if you don't put the 3 seconds of effort in to make sure that the borders are straight, I think that's really going to get somebody's eye. So that's a very nice card right there. A little addition to that is from this same designer series paper, I just used my snips and I trimmed out some of these flowers. So I'm going to add those with some dimensionals. A big one on the big flower and 2 little ones on the tinier flowers. And take that off the paper. We should have a theme song for when I'm doing something like taking backings off or when I'm coloring. And just put that right on there. So there you go. A plain piece of white on the inside, or you could write right on there, but a piece of white would make it look a lot more finished. So there's our second card. Same stack of designer series paper, just use a single color. Make sure you get the ink and the designer series paper and the base paper all to coordinate. So, second card. Nice clean look. On our third card tonight, not our final card, we're making 4. I grabbed the same designer series paper, and this one is just jade, so I'm going to tell you the measurements once again. 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to fold this up. Richard says that is simple yet super professional looking. And I kind of agree. For a brand new stamper, these are really nice cards. These are actually really nice cards for anybody. But for a brand new stamper that doesn't have, that needs a little bit more help with ideas, this is a super simple card. Okay, I grabbed this piece of designer series paper. It's got green dots on the back. We're going to call them green snowflakes because there's a blue paper that I called snowflakes. Now this paper has direction. Do you see how the stems and the leaves are going? So we're going to pay attention when we attach that to our card. And since it's a 6x6 designer series paper, and I cut it this way, that would be fine. But if you wanted your card to go that way, that's fine. Just cut your designer series paper in a different orientation. So this doesn't limit you at all because it's 6x6. It's bigger than the card front in both directions. So I'm just going to always make sure that my cardstock is opening in the right direction, and I'm going to float this on top and stick that down. So again, I cut that paper to 4 by 5 1/4. So I had extra paper left over, right? This piece right here, where did it come from? Right there? Nope. Did it come from right there? Now it must have come up from a little higher. It came up from right about there because I'm using the 2 inside pieces. So hold on a moment. So for this one, on the back is a green snowflake. Like I said, we'll call it a green snowflake. That coordinates really nicely with this paper and the background. So I'm going to take it and add it as a strip onto the front of this card. This is just another little way to use up all of your designer series paper. You can put it at the top, the bottom, doesn't matter. I'm putting it at the center. And I'm just going to the edge of the designer series paper, not the whole card. That's just my preference. So on the inside of this card, a piece of Whisper White, because that is what the background of this designer series paper is on this page. And here are 2 little strips that I pulled out in between this one. Remember I said that was up top. There was these 2 strips here that I pulled these out of. And what I want to show you is there is direction to these strips. It doesn't go like that. No, it doesn't go like that because these flowers are upside down. There we go. See, that is the stem to that blue flower. So you want to make sure you have those lined up in the right direction first. And I'm going to take this and put some adhesive on the back of it. There we go. Whoop. Now before I stick it down, because I spun it around to put the adhesive on, I am just going to make sure again that this is the direction that I want it to go. That is up, okay? And I'm going to do the same thing and put this about 1/4 of an inch up, so 1 box up. And I'm just making sure that that starts 1 box up and that ends 1 box up. There you go. So that's even. Not a lot of work involved in figuring this out if you have the grid paper. I know a lot of people that use the grid paper to keep their tables clean but don't effectively use all this grid on here. So this is the second piece. Again, make sure that it is in the right direction, which it is, because you can see that blue flower, or even this pink flower. Those are the stems, and that's the top. And what I'm going to do is leave 1/4 of an inch in between, okay? So I'm going to hold this base still, and I'm going to start 1 box up. And then I'm just going to bring it to the end, make sure it is 1 box up. See? So that's the inside of your card. There's still plenty of room to write your message. A little adhesive on the back. Float this on the inside. And there we go. So that is the card. We're going to take another stamp from in here. How about, congratulations on reaching a whole new level of wonderful. That's actually really pretty. And you know what? I'm going to show you how to mount a stamp. I haven't used this one yet. All right, so if you have these red rubber stamps that you can't see through, there's ways to mount them. Let me wash this one off. We're going to use the same clear block. I have plenty of clear blocks, but what I want is for you guys to see how I am doing this, okay? I'm just cleaning this off. That's clean now. And I'm going to pull that stamp off and get it out of the way. So this is the stickers. This is how it comes. On the back, you can see that I put some stickers on, right? This is how the sticker comes. This is the one we're going to use right here. I don't know if you could see those little score lines on there where it's cut out. Yeah, you can see it. So what I'm going to do is pick up the whole, this is the side that sticks to the back, and that is the side that sticks to the clear block. Remember, I just had this one, okay? So that is that side and that side. So what I'm going to do is stick this to the clear block. Now there are directions, by the way, right inside here if you get confused at all. They are different than what I'm about to tell you, but this is a lot easier. So do it however it's easiest for you, but I'm going to tell you that this is the easiest way for me. So there's a little slit in here, and you're going to pull this paper back, okay? Both sides is what I do. Okay, and on the back of here, there's also a piece of paper that you're going to pull back. Now, I save these for masking, which we'll go over later, but I save these in the same case. All right, here is our stamp. You can read it, and you're going to put it so that the writing is right side right and down like that. Then you're going to take this. I don't know if you can see it. I just hold it up to here. Can you see that there's a very little clear line around where that, where the sticker ends? Yeah, you could see that. So you're going to just take that and line it up. Just float it over. Don't press it down yet. Really slowly make sure all the edges are on there. And once you're on it, put it like that. And now your stamp is mounted. It's got the sticker on the back of it. You can go ahead and use it. So we will. For this card, we have Whisper White cardstock, right? Because that's what we used on the inside. So I grabbed a piece of Whisper White. Actually, let me grab a piece of scrap Whisper White over it. Nah, that's fine. We'll use this one. I used the coordinating Just Jade ink, so it coordinates with the base of the card. And I'm going to take this and tap, tap, tap. Now, if you had a die cutting machine, or if you had a punch that would fit this, you could certainly go ahead and punch this out. But presuming that you're a new stamper and you don't have that punch, we're just going to cut this with our handy dandy trimmer. I'm going to line this up again, making sure that I'm not going over the edge here. Actually, I'm going to start on the bottom. I think I stamped a little crooked, but that's okay. If you did, you just put the paper on here a little crooked. See, it's not all the way up to the top. And the way I'm checking this out to see if it's crooked or not is, you see there's a word right there. This track has lots of bumps in it. Can you see that? Bumps. So I can see the word wonderful right there in one of the bumps, and it's completely straight. So I'm just going to trim off a little bit of that. And when I mean a little bit, I mean a little bit. I'm going to put that in there straight. Make sure that I'm lining up the bottom with this grid line mark. Because if I line it up at the top, it's going to be wonky that way. So I'm lining up the bottom, and I'm making sure I am not cutting off any of the letters. Now I'll tell you why I always start at the bottom and go to the top, because of pressure. If I start like this and I push up to the top, the paper's not going to go anywhere because there's a stopper up here. If I were to start at the top, I'm just going to give you an example. If I were to start at the top and pull down, and if I'm not holding this all the way, it'll like move, it'll go somewhere, it could go crooked, and then you end up with something like that. So that's not what you want, right? You want to hold it up to the top so it stays there, keep your pressure even, and push up, and your line is straight. So that's just another little tip for you on why I always go up. Or I'll use the bottom. There's also the same thing on the bottom here. I will use the bottom and pull down, but I always pull towards the stopper. All right, let's see what we've got going on here. No ink hanging off through the track, so I'm not going to cut the stamp. And then just a little bit right there. How about that? Looks kind of even, but if it doesn't, you can just put it back in, line it up on one of these lines, make sure you're not cutting through, which I was a little bit. I'm just going to straighten that out just a pinch. You want to be careful when you're doing this because your hand is not holding it down all the time. Once you put it in like this, press hard, and there you go. See that little sliver I just took off? I'm a little more picky about my cards, but you don't have to be. Because honestly, nobody is going to look at this and say, oh my gosh, if that sentiment was straight, it just would have been a perfect card. Now I have a little bit of fuzzies there, so I'm just going to cut them off. I'm going to go back to my dimensionals. Doesn't matter which color I take, but since I'm using white, I'm going to be using white dimensionals as well. Let me scoot that one down a little bit. They're removable for a moment. So once you put them on, the card itself and both of them are stuck down, it's a little more sticky. And the longer it stays, the longer it becomes permanent. Okay? Now you can put this anywhere on the card. I am just going to lay it down because you know what? I can see that it's a little bit off. It's actually getting larger to that side. So I'm just going to lay that down and trim it later. I could see a little bit on the bottom there. Okay, so there you go. Card number 3, just as pretty, right? I really like this one. I love this one. Oh. Okay, card number 4. I hope you liked card number 3. Let me know if you do. By the way, if you are getting anything out of this, please go ahead and hit the like button and also hit subscribe so that YouTube knows that I'm doing a good job, because then they will share it with more people and I can do these more often. So that's how this works. It's a whole algorithm of how many watch hours I have versus how many videos I have versus how long people watch the whole video. I mean, it's an algorithm. Okay, so for this one, this card right here, I am going to show you the Memories and More pack, which I'm looking for because I had it. Hold on a quick sec. It's probably right in front of my face. Oh yeah, it is right in front of my face. Okay, so our Flowers and for Every Season Memories and More card pack. Let me explain to you what they are. They have 4. Let me move that out of the way. They have 4 by 6. Yeah, 4 by 6 cards and 3 by 5 cards. No, I'm sorry, 3 by 4 cards. So actually one card is that, and then the other one is this card like that's split in half, so it's 2 of that size. All right, these are pre-printed cards. There are bigger ones if you're going to be doing scrapbooking, but on the other side you can also trim it down to use it as designer series paper for a card. So let me show you all of the different options on this big one here. Move some things out of the way. All right. So we've got larger ones, and then designer series paper patterns on the back. Love. You could always cut these down if you want to use on a card. If you're using a card in this direction, you can just trim it so that love fits down the middle of the card. There are 2 of each card. This one is a good one for scrapbooking or for putting on the inside of the card. All the ways I love you. Remember, I love you on the back. So then this looks like the designer series paper, and that's on the center. Again, this matches the designer series paper. You can put something on the center if you want to stamp it. Bloom and Grow. Oh, I love this one too. I guess it's just the pattern because this is the one I love so much in the yellow as well. Winter Wishes. So this one goes along with the designer series paper that we had that had some more Christmassy type poinsettia flowers. I love these for fast and easy cards. Here's the bigger ones. And now there's so many smaller ones. All right, You Inspire Me, Embrace Today. These cards, you can take this one. I wouldn't do it in this color combination maybe, but you can trim that down and put this as the background and that as the front, and you have already stamped it. You've already put your message on there. All right, so here's another one with some of that grid on it. Don't forget, okay, so that's the back. Don't forget there are backs to everything. I'll show you all the backs at once. Here, if you wanted to and you had a stamp, you could put something right there. This one is great because while it's got designer series paper on one side, you could use that on the center of a card, use it with maybe the midnight card. You could also take these and just trim these out and use these as sayings on your Christmas cards, on your holiday cards. Okay, so there's so many in here. Like I could just show you all of them. It's crazy how many are in here. They match the designer series paper. Embrace Today. On My Mind. Okay, so here's some more rain or shine, not necessarily Christmas ones, but fall. Feeling festive. Oh, this is one I actually cut this out of. I have a die that size. Okay, Start Fresh. Now on the other side, it's just more of the colorful stuff, right? We've gone through a lot of those papers in the designer series paper. Already something on there. You Are My Sunshine. I love that one too. I guess this whole pack is really lovely for me. I love this color. I love those roses. Now the reason why I kept this is because I can still use this as a frame on another card. Okay, so we have all of these. On top of all of that comes in here, there are self-adhesive dies. This sheet has words. They're pre-cut. You can just pop them up and use them. Like this word, for example, celebrate, you can use it. Or you can trim it out. After you use the word celebrate, trim it out, and you've got kind of the negative of the word celebrate, so it'll be like the outline. You can put that on a card if you wanted to. There's all these little leaves and flowers. There are all the different words in there. And then here are some more flowers. If you didn't want a fussy cut for this right here, you could have just grabbed a flower from here and put it on if you had this paper, this Memories and More card pack. All right, so that is a huge card pack. And I will show you what we're making tonight. So I've used the, excuse my reach, the Midnight. Here is our card. It starts out at 4, so you're just going to trim a little bit off with your trimmer. We're going to get that to 5 1/4, so it fits the first layer, which leaves 3/4 of an inch. Don't get rid of that. I'm going to show you what we're doing with it. Oh, I used my white piece. Here, I'll just cut another one. I guess I used that. Oh, that's the one I used as my scrap before. All right, now I'm just going to cut the inside of a paper. So that's going to be 5 1/4 by 4. If anything, by the end of this series, you will know the layers, the size of the layers, okay? This is going to be the inside, and all I'm going to do with this extra piece is put a little adhesive on the back of it. And I'm going to put it right on that side there. Like so. And that's going to be the inside. All right. On this piece, I'm going to use this designer series paper piece from the Memories and More card pack. Put that on the front. I think this is the one that, this is not the exact one that Brianna said she liked earlier in the comments, but it's very similar. So from there, we have these bits. You can make this stand out a couple of different ways. Take this, put it right in the center. Is that right in the center? You know how we can tell. Put it on your grid paper. Now, if you look at the top of our grid paper, there's a 0 mark in the center. So you can say, okay, this is 2.5 on this side and 2 3/4 on that side. So that's the center. And then use the center lines over here. On this side is the 0 grid. You see that? So you will know exactly where the center. Now put this, line it up with your center. And you can put this, line it up with your center. I'm going to put mine right there. I'm going to take this word that says celebrate very carefully because it's a dainty, delicate little word and I don't want to rip it. Now if you want, you can put it on your take your pick tool. So this, if I haven't shown you this yet, just take your pick tool. You can use the end of your scissors if you want to, but if you have this tool handy, I would just use it. So the B is the center of the word, so I'm going to put that in the center right there. And then I'm just going to make sure that the rest of this word is not, I guess getting off-centered is my way of saying it. It's not going to be tilted or anything. Celebrate. And I'm going to grab a flower. We're going to go with this yellow one because the celebrate is yellow, and this also has blue on it. I'm just going to put that right there. I'm taking that up. Actually, I've changed my mind. Because I don't want the blue on top of the blue. I want people to be able to see that. So I'll put it that way. It'll be looking down, but that is totally okay with me. Now you can see the blue on the white background. You can see the green and the yellow on the blue background. So how simple was that card? It took me, I don't even know, I mean, less than a minute to put it together. Just putting some adhesive on the center here. And there we go. Now, like I said, if you wanted to, you could put it that way. Doesn't matter to me. It's your card. You're the boss of your own cards. So there we go. Just a really pretty, simple, if this is your supplies, then this is a lovely card. If you had something else, you could even take some more of that paper and make a strip there like we did on this one. There are so many different ways to add to these. You could add your sprinkles, you could add your ribbons, you could add rhinestones. You could do so much, but since this is a stamping series for people that are new, we are limiting our supplies right now. So here are the cards we made. I hope you can see them all, actually. I'm just going to move that up so you can see them all. The cards we made, so here's the first one with our designer series paper and a little celebrate you. Same stamp set, same designer series paper, different color paper I've chosen. You can act as if you just have that one paper. I did them in all of these colors so you could see how they look when they coordinate. This was the monotone one. This is our fourth one, and I used our Memories and More card pack. And here's one with that same designer series paper. This one was the opposite side of this paper. And I just put a new sentiment on there, all from the same coordinating Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. So if you got anything out of this video, again, please click the like button and make sure that you click subscribe so that YouTube will, you know, put my videos out there and I can share more with everybody because I really enjoy doing this. I hope you're getting something out of it. Oh, thanks, Linda. I saw your comment about cue cards. I appreciate that. If you have any questions, like always, make sure that you pop something into the comments. I'm going to be ending now, but I do go back and read comments. And if you have any questions about how I made it or any questions about the products, don't forget that if you don't have a demonstrator and you want to get a catalog, let me know. I can pre-order one if you get it to me by the end of, get me your request by the end of March. And what else? I think that covers everything. Don't forget to subscribe so you can get, and hit the notification bell so you can get notified when I go live. And I appreciate you guys being here with me and spending your time with me. Hopefully you're learning something new and hopefully you're enjoying it. So I will see you guys again Okay, actually, I just realized next Sunday is spring break. So I don't know that I'm going to see you on Sunday. I might do a pre-recorded video. I will let you know what the scoop is because my kids are on spring break, and since I work at the school, I'm on spring break too. So we might go up and visit my parents' house and do some work up there. My other daughter's going on some college visits, so I'm not 100% sure of our plans yet. So anyway, until I see you again, you can always catch me on live Facebook, and that is on Sunday nights at 7:30 Eastern Time and Wednesday nights at 7:30, and YouTube lives at 8:30 on Sunday nights. Until I see you again, I hope you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and stay stamping. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.